here on the planet Earth. All right. And his kingdom that's going to be right here on the planet Earth, that is the inheritance for us, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, those who stem from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's our inheritance, the kingdom of heaven, not here, right? Here is just training. Here is just work. Here is just where we go through our suffering, okay? Before the honor of getting our inheritance, rulership of the eternal righteous kingdom, well, we first had to go through the humility of suffering and experiencing all the things that we have to experience lifetime after lifetime after lifetime here in this present temporal evil world. Before honor is humility. Okay?
Better believe it, man. And this is not a freaking joke. Okay, this is deadly serious.
That's it.
So it says, and if children, then heirs of the Heavenly Father, and joint heirs with Yahushua, if so be that we suffer with him, which is what we're doing right now, suffering the stupidity of this world, the stupidity of the people of this world.
That's it.
I cannot tell you how I look at the people of this world. I look at them with
exactly. So that's good enough right there. Definitely go check out the rest of this this lesson here. All right, I just played a couple of clips. All right, and subscribe to the Elder Apostles channel and be edified. All right, so we got the knowledge that will lead to us living forever on earth. Now, let me get this here, one of my faves, in Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 33, verse 10. It says, and all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth. In much knowledge the Lord have divided them. You see, because it says all men that's on the earth today, right, are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth. In much knowledge the Lord have divided them. So all the men that's on the earth today stem from Adam, right? And it says, and in much knowledge the Lord have divided them. The Lord have divided the men, right, that stem from Adam. Divided them into what? Well, in this Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 17 and 17, it says, for in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion. All right. Israel, the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Lord's portion. You see, but the point is that we were divided. It says in the division of the nations. So all the men that stem from Adam was divided into nations of people, right? Different nations, different races, right? That have different heritages, different ways of living on the earth, right? So it says in much, going back to this Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 33 and 11, it says in much knowledge the Lord have divided them into different nations and made their ways diverse. You see, he made their ways different one from another. Okay? Now, like I always say, all the heathen Gentile nations, all right, while they do have ways different one from another, like the scripture says, what the heathen nations have in common is that their way is a heathenistic, unrighteous way that leads to a downfall and death. All right? All the heathen nations, even though they have different ways of living, all right, their ways have in common is that they're unrighteous. All right, they're carnal ways. They're ways that lead to a downfall and death. Okay, now we, the special chosen children, we were given the only way of life everlasting. All right, we were given the way that's accepted in the eyes of the Most High God. All right, because the Most High God, he gave us that way. Let's go to back to that Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 17, verse 11. It says, beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for a heritage. You see, talking about us, all right, the Israelites, his special chosen children, right? It says, beside this, he gave them knowledge. And this is the same knowledge that the title of the lesson, we got the knowledge that will lead to us living forever on earth. Okay? So it says, beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for a heritage. You see, the law of life. And I'm talking about living forever, right? Because if you transgress the laws of living forever, right? If you go the opposite way of living forever, right? Well, then you going to death. Okay? And that's why if you transgress life, right? Like I always say, that's why scripture says a little leaven, leaveneth the whole lump. Little death, you dead the whole way. Right? So beside this, he gave them the knowledge and the law of life for an heritage. That's what he gave us, to his special chosen children, right? The laws of life to live forever, right? But again, we are in these chains of darkness, right? This sinful flesh, where we cannot keep, right, the laws of life perfectly right now. Now, in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to be in those bodies where we keep them forever, right? But we had to experience this first. This was all a part of the will of the Father, and it was all for our learning, all for our purification, right, and perfecting. You must understand that. Now, let's go to Ecclesiasticus, right, or Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 19. It says, the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. And they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. Okay? So we, the Israelites, we were given this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the knowledge that will lead to us living forever on earth. Okay, so now watch this. Let's keep going. Let's get this here in Deuteronomy. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. So it says, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. All right, talking to you Israelites, those who stem from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because in Deuteronomy 1:1, it says, these be the words that was, let me just get it. Deuteronomy 1:1, these be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on this side of Jordan in the wilderness. Right? That's all I need. These be the words that were spoken to all Israel. Okay? So, right here, Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. You see? For thou art a holy people. Right? You're separate from all other people. Because all other people, while they have different ways one from another, they do all have in common that they have unrighteous ways that they have. Carnal ways. But we, the special chosen children, right? We're a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. And he gave us the special way, because there's only one way, where one knowledge that will lead to living forever. All right? All these heathen Gentile nations, again, while they have ways different one from another, what they have in common is that their heathenistic way leads to a downfall and leads to death. Okay? We, the Israelites, the special chosen people, we were given the way that will lead to immortality, living forever. But we had to experience this sinful flesh. That's why he said in that Psalms 82, hey, you are gods, but ye shall die like men. Because now you're in this sinful flesh, and the way that I'm giving you, the way of immortality, you're not going to keep it perfectly. You see? So we had to experience that, right? And see the consequences of going off. See the consequences of doing wrong. See the consequences of forsaking our Father and forsaking the righteous way that he gave us. We had to experience that for our learning. Okay. But as it says again, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. You see, everybody can't be special, because then there would be no such thing as special. Okay? Special is something where it's just like, no, it's not like the rest. That's why they call, people that got Down syndrome, or they call retarded or something. They call, hey man, come on man, don't tell me he's special, right? He's not like all the rest of the people. He's special, right? They're not like like regular people. They're different. You see? And so in the regard of us being the gods on earth, right? We're the only ones, all right? Those that stem from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We're the chosen, special people. We're different from all others. Okay? And so let's go to this Deuteronomy. I want to get a word in here. So Deuteronomy chapter 28. This is Deuteronomy 28:1. Now check this out. It says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. You see, will set thee on high. This is Deuteronomy, all right? 28:1, all right? And these law, statutes, and commandments that he gave exclusively to us, because every nation got their own ways. The law, statutes, and commandments is the ways that was given to us. The ways of righteousness, that was the ways that was given to us, the Israelites, exclusively, right? And he said, if thou shalt observe and to do, perform perfectly all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth, if we did it perfectly. But then in verse 15, Deuteronomy 28:15, it says, but it shall come to pass if thou will not hearken. Right? He's telling us, okay, well, this was going to come to pass if you do hearken perfectly and do perfectly the righteousness of the Most High God. All these blessings are going to come upon thee and overtake thee. But Deuteronomy 15 says, but it shall come to pass if thou will not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And the curses are from Deuteronomy 28 verse 16 all the way down to verse 68. And that's the curses that we're still under, because we did not observe and to do all his commandments perfectly. We did not, as a nation. And so as a nation, we own punishment, right? But that was all a part of the will of the Father to happen, so we can learn a lesson, so we can be purified and perfected. Okay? This is all the will of the Father, that it happened, that we didn't. All right? All right? Right here and now in this present temporal evil world, we didn't. All right? We didn't do it perfectly. But let's go back to verse 1, because it says, verse 1, Deuteronomy 28:1, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth, and verse 2, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee. Blessings come on you and overtake you. I want some blessings to come on me and overtake me. It says, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. And from verse 3 all the way down to 14 are the blessings. All right. That was going to come upon us and overtake us if we listened perfectly and did perfectly according to the righteousness, the way that the Most High gave us. Now, I want to get this. It says, set thee on high, right? Set thee on high. Let's get that. Thee on high. Because I'm going to set thee on high above you, the nation of Israel, right? I'm going to set you on high above all nations, above all these Gentile heathen nations. You're going to be above them, right? Set thee on high. which set thee on high from the Hebrew word H5945, H9545. All right. I'm going to click on that. All right. And it says Isla Wayan. All right. And it is of rulers, either monarchs or angel princes. Elevation, lofty, the title supreme. All right. The highest. All right. Again, of rulers, either monarchs or, so we're going to be monarchs, angel princes. All right. Princes become kings, rulers, royalty. Right. And he said, if we did this perfectly, we were going to be ruling monarchs over these heathen nations. All right. We got that definition the other day of a monarch. Right. Let's just recap on that. A person or thing that holds a dominant position, a sole or absolute ruler. Right. A hereditary sovereign as king. Right. That's what monarch means. Right. So we're going to be the kings, rulers over, right, these heathen nations. Right. So keep that in mind. All right. Keep that in mind. But again, we didn't do it perfectly. Right. So instead of being above all nations, all right, part of the curses, all right, was that we were going to be under all nations, subjected to them in their heathenistic ways. We won't have our own land no more, because in that Deuteronomy 28, part of the punishment, part of the curses, in that verse, Deuteronomy 28 and 62, and a few verses down, it says how that we were going to be plucked off our land and scattered amongst all nations in subjection to them and their heathenistic ways and their idols that they just made up, their religions that they just made up. You see all of their rules and regulations which are heathenistic, right? Rules, right? That's what it said that was going to happen to our people. But let's get this in Second Esdras chapter 5, verse 27. It says, and among all the people, multitudes of peoples, among all the multitudes of peoples, thou hast gotten thee one people. All right. And that one people are those who stem from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Israelites. All right, which is us, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? And even those who have the appearance of looking like a heathen nation, all right, but your bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, okay? We're the Israelites. It says, and among all the multitudes of peoples, thou hast gotten thee one people, and unto this people whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all. You see, thou gave us a law, a way, all right, the knowledge that will lead to us living forever on earth, right? That way, those laws, statutes, and commandments was given to us, all right, the Israelites, because we read that Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 33, right, where all nations have different ways one from another. We just got the way from the Most High God, the Creator, all right, that's approved of all, all right? We got the way he gave, all right, to us. That's approved, okay? Because another one of my favorites, let's just get that real quick. In that Baruch chapter 3 and 36, he, the Most High God, have found out all the way of knowledge and have given it. You see, and have given it unto Jacob, his servant, and to Israel, his beloved. We, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, those who stem from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we are Jacob. We are Israel. Yasha Allah is how you say Israel in the Hebrew. Okay? So he have found out all the way of knowledge and have given it to Jacob, all right, his servant, and to Israel, his beloved. All right. And that way, all right, this way of knowledge is the way of immortality. Because in verse 14, it says, learn where is wisdom, where is strength, where is understanding, that thou mayest know also where is length of days and life, where is the light of the eyes and peace. You see? So let's go to this Second Esdras chapter 6, verse 55. So it says, all this I have spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. Right? He said he made the world for our sake. Us, the Israelites. This is why he made the world. But right now, we don't have an inheritance with the world, because this was the place where we go through our purification and perfecting process. But the world to come, all right, is finally when we're going to been made perfect, and that's where we rule for eternity as gods on the earth, immortals on the earth. Okay? Let's get this. Second Esdras chapter 9, verse 13. It says, and therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is and for whom the world is created. See, the righteous need to be saved. See, because the righteous are still right now in these chains of darkness, where the righteous is not perfect right now, because we're in the process of being perfected. Right? So in the process of being perfected, right, you still mess up. It's just like, you know, in rehearsal, right? You know, and I used to be in theater, right? Well, when I was in rehearsal, right? Oh yeah, you can flub a line, no problem. They'll even feed you the line. All right, you can even call for a line, you know. But in the performance, ain't no calling for line. You got to be perfect with those lines, right? But in the rehearsal, hey, you mess up sometime. You're not trying to, but you do, because you just started. You're in rehearsal. You're learning, right? And so here in this present temporal evil world, all right, the righteous, all right, are still, you know, in the process of being perfected. So the righteous still mess up because we're still in these chains of darkness. But we're going to be saved from these chains of darkness. We're going to be saved from being in this sinful flesh. Okay? So that's why it says, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved. And then it says, whose the world is and for whom the world was created. The world was created for the righteous, right? And that's just another a title for the Israelites, right? The righteous. So let's go back to this Second Esdras chapter 6 and 55. I'll start at 54. It says, and after these Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, of Adam come we all, the righteous, special chosen children, and all the heathen nations. All right, stem from Adam. That's why it says, of him, of Adam, come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All right, everybody that's on the earth, all right, stem from Adam. The sons of God, all right, the righteous, the Israelites, right, the heathen Gentile nations, and then the worst of the heathen Gentile nations is the wicked, all right, Esau, Edom, the biblical Edomites, all right, and all classifications of men stem from Adam. The sons of God, the sons of the wicked, and the sons of men. All right. The sons of men being the heathen nations. All stem from Adam. Right. So it says, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen, which are the Israelites. Right. Who has the title of being the righteous. Okay. It says, all this I have spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sake. Thou madest the world for our sake. As for the other people, the heathen Gentile nations, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, all right, these heathen Gentile nations, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us, over the special chosen children, the righteous, and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? All right, the prophet Ezra was going through a thing. He said, well, how long this going to endure? You say the world made for our sake, but here it is. He say, let me go to that chapter 3, where he say, second Esdras chapter 3, verse 28. Esdras asks, he say, are their deeds, all right, talking about the heathen Gentile nations, are their deeds any better? Are their deeds then any better that inhabit Babylon? Talking about these heathen nations, that they should therefore have the dominion over Zion. All right. And that's us, Zion. Okay. In the Hebrew is to Zion, which means, monument or memorial. Right. And that's us, the Israelites. That's another nickname for the Israelites, Zion. Right. So he asks, and are their deeds, these heathen nations' deeds, that any better that inhabit Babylon than those that have that they should therefore have the dominion, rule over us, Zion, the Israelites? Verse 29, it says, for when I came thither, I had seen impieties without number. All right, these heathen nations was all manner of unrighteous and wicked. Then my soul saw many evildoers in this 13th year, so that my heart failed me. For I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, all right, and have spared wicked doers. He's basically saying, I seen how these heathen nations are doing all manner of wickedness, yet you're not punishing them. They chilling, they rich, they ruling over us, right? It says, and has spared, let me read that verse 30 again. For I have seen how thou sufferest them sinning, you allowing them to sin, these heathen nations, and has spared wicked doers, and has destroyed thy people. Right? But you destroyed us. We messed up, sure. Right? We didn't follow your way perfectly, sure. But here it is, they ain't follow, these heathen nations ain't following your way at all. Yet they rich, they ruling over us. What's going on here? The prophet Esdras is wondering. And has preserved thine enemies and has not signified it. Verse 31, I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon, these heathen nations, better than they of Zion, us, the Israelites, your special chosen children? Or is there any other people that knoweth thee besides Israel? Or what generation have so believed thy covenants as Jacob? And yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor have no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandments. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness in the balance, us the Israelites, the special chosen children, and theirs also that dwell in the world, these heathen nations. And so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. You see? So Ezra was going through a thing. He like, man, how long is this going to endure? We, thy people, I thought the world was made for our sake. Why don't we put, he said back in this second Esdras 6 and 59, if the world now be made for our sake, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? You see, the prophet Ezra at the time was going through a thing because he didn't understand, that, no, this is what we had to go through as the special chosen children. And it was all a part of our purification and perfecting. You see, he was like, man, you ain't doing nothing to these heathens because he ain't morally improving the heathen. He ain't purifying and perfecting the heathen because they not going to be the rulers of the eternal righteous kingdom to come. You see, they only got dominion and rulership right now for a little bit of time. All right. But their time, all right, it comes to an end. See, but our time when we get into rulership, no end. That's why it says Israel shall be saved in the Lord. All right. Matter of fact, let me just grab that real quick.